They learn something early that most people refuse to see. They learn, usually through rejection or public embarrassment, that showing weakness invites attack, not sympathy. Every time someone explains their choices, their feelings, or their boundaries, they hand over a map to their vulnerabilities. The people around them study it carefully. They note the pressure points. They learn exactly where to push next time. Most humans over-explain because they fear being misunderstood. A coworker says no to extra work and launches into a full story about family obligations, traffic, and health issues. The explanation does not protect them. It signals uncertainty. It opens the door for negotiation. The boss hears the details and immediately starts picking them apart. But you did it last month. Your situation isn't that bad. The explanation turns a simple refusal into a debate. The explainer always loses. People who stop explaining themselves notice the shift almost immediately. Conversations grow shorter. Others hesitate before they speak. The usual questions dry up. Why did you do that? Meets only silence or a flat, because I chose to. The lack of detail creates discomfort in the room. The other person fills the void with their own assumptions. Those assumptions often favor the silent one. They project strength where none was declared. The real change happens in power dynamics. When a person refuses to justify their actions, they remove the opponent's favorite weapon, the demand for proof. Manipulators thrive on extraction. They pull out reasons so they can twist them, minimize them, or use them as ammunition later. Silence denies them the material. A friend asks why someone skipped the party. No long excuse follows. Just, I had other plans. The friend feels the imbalance. They cannot argue against an empty space. They cannot guilt trip what was never offered. This pattern repeats in every arena of life. In relationships, constant explanation trains the partner to expect detailed accounting for every decision. One partner stops. They say they need space and offer nothing more. The other partner suddenly faces a boundary with no seams, no loose threads to pull. The dynamic flips. The demander now works harder to maintain connection because the supply of justifications has been cut off. At work, the employee who once detailed every absence or delay now responds with short facts. I won't be in Friday. No story about the doctor's appointment or family emergency. Colleagues who used to probe for weaknesses find nothing to grip. Promotions and opportunities start flowing toward the person who appears self-contained. Leaders notice the difference. They respect the one who does not seek permission through explanation. They test the others more aggressively. The internal shift is even more ruthless. People who explain constantly drain their own mental resources. Each justification rehearses doubt. They practice defending their right to exist. Over time, this erodes self-trust. They begin to believe their choices need external validation to be valid. When they stop, the mental chatter quiets. Decisions feel cleaner. Energy that once went into crafting narratives now stays inside. They move through the day with less tension in their shoulders and less rehearsal in their head. Yet the first days bring discomfort. The silence feels loud. Guilt rises quickly. Old voices whisper that they are being rude, cold, or selfish. Most people cave at this point. They rush to fill the void with more words. Those who push through the awkward phase discover something darker. The guilt was never about morality. It was about trained fear of consequences. Once they survive the initial pushback without collapsing, the fear loses its grip. Consider how children learn this lesson. A child explains why they took the cookie and faces punishment anyway. The explanation did not save them. It only gave the adult more material to shame them with. Adults repeat the same pattern without realizing it. They explain their boundaries and watch them get dismantled piece by piece. The ones who stop notice that firm silence often earns more respect than elaborate defense. The mechanism is simple. Explanation signals that the decision is up for review. Silence declares it final. Humans are wired to respect finality in others, even when they resent it in themselves. The person who explains invites collaboration on their life choices. The person who does not forces others to adapt or withdraw. Most adapt because withdrawal costs them something valuable, access to the strong one. This reveals a deeper truth about social control. Much of what passes for concern or curiosity is actually an attempt to reassert dominance. "Why didn't you call?" is rarely about care. It is about demanding accountability on the asker's terms. When the answer is, "I didn't want to," without further elaboration, the power move fails. The asker must either accept the new reality or escalate. Escalation exposes their true intent. Many back down when they realize the target no longer plays the old game. In group settings, the effect multiplies. One person stops explaining and the entire dynamic shifts. Others watch carefully. Some copy the behavior and gain strength. Others double down on demands because they sense their control slipping. The silent one becomes the focal point. Conversations orbit around them even when they say little. Their presence alone carries weight because it contains unknowns. People fear the unknown more than they fear clear weakness. The energy savings are concrete. Constant explainers report higher anxiety and lower focus. Their minds stay occupied with crafting responses to imagined criticism. When the habit breaks, that mental bandwidth redirects. They think more clearly about their own goals. They notice opportunities they previously missed while busy defending past choices. Their decisions improve because they make them for internal reasons rather than external optics. Yet stopping is not passive. It requires deliberate restraint. The urge to explain surges strongest right after a decision that might disappoint someone. The trained response is to soften the blow with reasons. The new response is to let the blow land. Let the other person feel their disappointment fully. Their reaction reveals whether the relationship was built on mutual respect or on the comfort of control. Many relationships quietly dissolve when one side stops supplying justifications. The loss is rarely mourned by the stronger party. Those who master this skill develop a particular aura. They speak less but carry more authority. Their words land heavier because they are not diluted by filler. When they do explain something important, it is brief and unapologetic. People listen differently. They no longer assume the explanation is negotiable. The default setting changes from debate to acceptance. The hidden cost of over-explaining appears in small daily moments. A simple no to a request used to expand into paragraphs. Now it stands alone. The requester often pauses longer. They search the face for cracks. Finding none, they move on or reveal their manipulation attempt more openly. But you always help. The response stays flat. Not this time. The manipulation loses oxygen. Without the detailed defense to attack, it withers. This pattern exposes how much social interaction relies on emotional labor from the compliant. The over-explainer performs constant maintenance on other people's feelings. They manage reactions before they happen. They preempt rejection. When they stop, that labor burden shifts. Others must now manage their own disappointment without the usual buffer. Many cannot. They pull away or lash out. The ones who stay learn a new way to relate, as equals rather than as extractors. Deeper still, stopping explanation rewires self-perception. People who once tied their worth to being understood detach from that need. They accept that most humans will never fully understand them anyway. This acceptance brings cold freedom. Decisions no longer require consensus. Actions no longer need applause. The internal judge becomes the only one that matters. External opinions lose their veto power. The ultimate shift appears in how others perceive predictability. The constant explainer is easy to read and therefore easy to manage. Their reasons create patterns that manipulators exploit. The silent one becomes less predictable. Their boundaries appear without warning or justification. This unpredictability creates natural respect. People tread more carefully around what they cannot easily decode. In professional environments, this translates to clearer hierarchies. The manager who stops explaining every directive faces less resistance over time. Subordinates test less because testing yields no engaging debate. The employee who stops justifying every request gains leverage in negotiations. Their position feels firmer because it is not built on persuasion, but on simple declaration. The psychological mechanism at work is loss aversion. Humans hate losing access or control more than they enjoy gaining something new. When explanation stops, others lose their usual access to the explainer's inner world. They feel the loss sharply. To regain comfort, many grant the silent person more space and deference. The dynamic inverts without a single argument. Some relationships survive the change stronger. Those built on genuine respect adapt to the new terms. Conversations become more direct. Assumptions decrease. The silent person models a different standard. State what you need and stand by it. Others either rise to that level or reveal they cannot. The filter works efficiently. The ones who struggle most with this change are those who benefited from the old pattern. Chronic explainers often surround themselves with people who demand justification. When the supply dries up, those people expose their dependence on control. They may accuse the silent one of changing or becoming distant. The accusation is accurate in one sense. The distance is real. It is the healthy distance between two autonomous adults rather than the enmeshed closeness of controller and supplier. Over time, the practice builds a specific type of strength. It is not loud dominance. It is quiet sovereignty. The person no longer participates in debates about their right to choose. They simply choose. The world adjusts or it does not. Either outcome clarifies the landscape faster than endless discussion ever could. This clarity extends to self-knowledge. Without the noise of constant justification, personal motives become easier to examine. Decisions reveal their true drivers more honestly. Some choices that once seemed necessary lose their appeal when they no longer serve external approval. Others that felt risky gain appeal when weighed only against internal standards. The dark truth is that most explanation serves as disguised submission. It seeks permission disguised as communication. It trades clarity for safety that never arrives. The moment the trade stops, safety arrives from a different source: internal alignment. The person who no longer explains themselves to the world finally begins to understand themselves without distortion. People who reach this point report a strange calm, not the warm comfort of approval, but the steady cold of self-possession. They move through interactions without the old tightness in their chest. They speak when they choose and stay silent when they choose. Both feel equally powerful. The world senses the difference, even if it cannot name it. The final revelation comes when others try to pull them back into old patterns. A former colleague demands the usual explanation for a boundary. The response remains short. The demand escalates. The silent one watches without engaging. The escalation reveals the emptiness behind the demand. There was never a genuine need for understanding. There was only the need for control. Once exposed, it loses its sting. This process repeats across different contexts until it becomes automatic. The habit of explanation fades like an old reflex no longer triggered. What remains is a cleaner, sharper way of being. Words carry more weight because they are rarer. Presence carries more force because it is undivided. The person who once diluted themselves through constant translation now stands complete in their own frame. The change is not kind to everyone involved. It disrupts comfortable imbalances. It forces honest reckonings. But for the one who enacts it, the disruption brings relief. They stop carrying the weight of other people's unmet expectations. They stop performing emotional labor that was never their responsibility. They reclaim the energy that explanation once consumed and direct it toward their own ends. In the end, the dark truth settles in fully. Stopping explanation does not make a person colder. It makes them clearer. It does not isolate them from meaningful connection. It filters out the connections that required constant justification to survive. What remains are relationships that can withstand silence and still hold value. The rest fall away naturally without drama or long goodbyes. The silence that breaks them is the same silence that frees one person completely. It strips away the illusions that explanation once maintained. It reveals who truly respected autonomy and who merely enjoyed the power of interrogation. For those willing to endure the initial discomfort, the reward is a life conducted on their own terms, defended by nothing more than the quiet fact of their choices. The world may not applaud the change, but it inevitably respects it. And respect, in the arena of human power, has always mattered more than comfort.